What's going on? We're gonna start. I'm gonna let her start her piece off because she has the true beginning.
Okay, so
My lovely wife to be. I'm gonna let her start.
It started off. How did it start? It all started off. I was at Patrice's
It all
house.
started off. Okay. Yeah,
I was at Patrice's house, which is my best friend, his first cousin, and we were on FaceTime with another one of his cousins, Keisha. And I told Keisha that I was gonna slide in his DM. And I didn't slide in his DM, but I told him that I was, and she was just like, "Well, don't do that, girl. I'll give you his number." And I was like, "Nah, that's weird."
I'd have been super line. But continue.
So I went. No, I didn't slide in his DM, and then she was just like, "So, if you're gonna slide in his DM, what does that mean?" Because I was at that time, I was married, but separated for 4 years. So she was asking me like, "So, if you're gonna slide in his DM, what does that mean?" I was just like, "That means that I'm ready to date. Like, I'm trying to get a divorce. I want to be dated. I want to date." So I didn't slide in his DM, but a month later, my friend was doing my hair at her house, and she finished half of it, and I was supposed to leave, go cook dinner, take care of my kids, then come back later on at night and go to a party. Yeah, I was going to a party. And then I went to her house, and she didn't answer the phone. She didn't answer the text, and I couldn't get in the gate. So I had to go home, not to the party, because my hair was half done, and I just went to bed. The next morning, she was calling, and she told me just to come to the beauty shop. The beauty shop, which Keisha, his first cousin, owns, and her brother is a barber, also works there, who cuts his hair. So I'm in the shop getting my hair done, and I'm just talking to them or whatever, and I was like, "Keisha." And she was like, "What, girl?" She turns around, and I was just like, "What day does," and before I could finish my sentence, Apache walks through the door. My question was going to be, what day does Apache come get his haircut? So she was just like, what? And I was just like, nothing. Like, there he goes. She was like, "Okay, girl, put you some lip gloss on." Mind you now, I was looking super early morning-ish. I had on some sweats, a t-shirt, half my hair was done.
Which is what men want to see. Like, I want to see you at your worst because our worst wasn't bad at all.
So when he came in, he sat down.
And I was looking, you know how the barber had a mirror you can look in? So I'm looking in the mirror, like trying to, see what's up, trying to get my peripherals together. And so we're playing a staring game. Like I got my head looking up, as soon as she looked, I'm playing it off like I'm talking to my cousin.
Doing
Real
it.
childish, extremely childish. So I get up, pay for my haircut, speak to everyone casually, and I leave. So I'm riding down the street, texting and driving, but text and drive people, it's terrible. Anyways, I'm going through her pictures, and 2 years prior, we met at my aunt's wedding. And again, I left out scrolling, and I saw a man. And so I don't mess with women that are dating or you got a dude. So I was just like, nah. So that's how that ended 2 years prior. So fast forward here, I'm scrolling again, but I see no guy. So I'm like, oh. So I'm like, I don't know what to say on a message. So I'm about to hit her with, "Hey, what's up?" And before that, I was just like, let me just send a wave. And I think I sent the wave, and her wave came in at the same time.
So it was like a high five.
High five. Yeah. So that happened.
And then his cousin had typed up this message that said, "It was good seeing you." Something like, "Hey, it was good seeing you." Because I didn't know what to say. I was just like, I ain't never slid nobody DM. I just started back dating. I don't know what to say. So she said it. And then we started chatting. So his cousin typed up a message and said, "Hey, it was good seeing you." Something to that nature. And we just started chatting. And I asked him why don't I ever see you? Like, why haven't I ever ran into you? Because I had just kind of started going back out and stuff.
And
And
me and
then
my usual banter, I said, because you stay on the north side.
he stayed in Pearland. I stayed in Spring. So, yeah, that was far. So, he pretty much just gives me his whole weekend itinerary. He's like, Thursdays, I go here. This weekend is homecoming. I'm going to be doing this. Saturday, I'm going to be doing this. Sunday, I'll be doing this. And I was like, okay, you just kind of gave me your whole little itinerary. And then he was just like, okay, maybe I did it on purpose. So I was like, okay, cool. So the day goes on. We stopped chatting. He had something to do. And then his cousin, Patrice, she comes over to work out. And we're working out. And she's texting somebody while we're working out. And she was just like, oh, he's asking me to come to Alley Cat. She was like, I've never been. She was like, do you want to go to Alley Cat? And I was like, Alley Cat? That was my second time here at Alley Cat in the same day. So I went to my phone, went back to the messages, and was like, Thursday's Alley Cat. Okay. Yes, I want to go to Alley Cat. So we met up at Alley Cat. And what was so crazy is that the person that she was supposed to meet didn't even come in Alley Cat. We just ended up being in there, and we
Talked the whole time.
It
was natural.
Like,
it was real natural. Like friends.
Went sat on the couch, and we just talked for a couple hours.
So it's the first date.
It was kind of like the first date. Kind of like meet-up date. The same day that we saw each other.
So first date.
First date. You cooked.
I cooked. And I was going to do my signature meal, which is the Cajun shrimp and rice scampi. It's usually like a winner. But I was being lazy. I think I was being the laziest dater.
That's like your first date starter pack?
Yeah, it's my first date. Every man has his thing. So I was feeling lazy that day. I think I had got a late start to the day or whatever, or I just didn't want to do it, period. So I decided to just do pasta because I know it's fast. It's the lazy man's meal to me. So I had Alfredo that I had just prepared. I would just cook the Alfredo or, make up the Alfredo and put it in the refrigerator. If somebody came, I just poured it in and made a meal. So being extremely lazy, but it was good though. It was fantastic. But the thing is, I didn't really want to put any effort into it, but she still enjoyed the food. After that,
it was good. It had parsley on it.
It had parsley. I did put the parsley on it. That's how you garnish your food up and make it look good for people. We watched a movie after that, and then we put on some music. I always put on mood music. And this is the thing, people. If a woman comes over to my house, if she stays over past a certain time, I always try something. So it was that time, and your boy made his move. And we're going to talk about that story.
My disclaimer is that I got over there late, so I don't know. The date was going to be late anyway. Put the kids to sleep and all that. Right, I had to do parent stuff, and then I came late, so.
So that's why it's 1 o'clock, and that's why I made my move. We got a story that's coming on the podcast that's going to talk about this in detail. But that one event was so hilarious that we're going to leave it out for right now and just say that the date ended with a no. The date ended with a no.
It was a no for me, dog.
It was a no for me, dog. And again, I was cool with that. And then she kind of laid out the parameters of why she didn't want to do that. And I did understand because she didn't want to date. And women, you have to set the parameters on the relationship. What you do not tolerate, that's what sets the pace of the relationship. So if you don't tolerate simple stuff, stop tolerating it. Second date. Because we're only going to warm y'all up for 3 dates. The third date was so crazy that it's unexplainable.
Second date.
I'm an artsy guy. So I was like, let me choose a movie that is artsy enough to enjoy it. Like, it was supposed to be a horror movie. We went to go see Snowman. Liam Neeson and all the film directors and all the people in Hollywood, I would like to thank you for wasting my money.
Hated it. No.
Hated it.
It was terrible.
I mean,
there was only two other people in the movie.
If somebody was doing arts and crafts in the building, that probably would have been more interesting. Or just painting the wall. That probably would have been more interesting. I kind of want my money back. But the thing is, after that, what we do?
Oh, Spring Tavern.
Wow. Spring Tavern. Hey, man. we went to this restaurant called Spring Tavern. Great people. It was like walking into Cheers. It was like walking into Cheers.
They were doing karaoke.
They were doing karaoke. The drinks were cheap. But if you want to smell like 10 pounds of cigarettes, or maybe a ton, go to Spring Tavern. I think we were in there for probably about maybe 30 minutes to an hour.
45 minutes.
Man, look. The smell was in my nostrils. It was in my mustache.
It was in my hair for days.
It was in my eyes. I could smell it everywhere. Like, it was smoke. It was probably smoke under my skin. Like, it was terrible. Like, the clothes. I had to wash them, like, twice. But Spring Tavern, awesome people. Just, you know.
If you smoke cigarettes, then you should go.
If you smoke cigarettes, it's dope. Like, you can go sing all the karaoke songs. Third date.
Halloween.
2 weeks prior, she had convinced me to do the radio show I was on. Happy Hour Tim, man. Shout out to all the crew over there. So I was doing the show on Tuesday, and this happened to be Halloween. So after I finished the show, I gave her a call, and she was like, you know, I'm out with the kids, you know, doing Halloween. And I said, well, let me shoot through. Let's hang out tonight. She said she wasn't doing nothing. So I was like, well, I come from the north side, pick you up. Let's ride out.
And I was like, north side, okay. Because the last time we went to the movies, we were on the north side, and we were kind of doing the back and forth, like you drive, I drive, like that. Just because it's far, it's like 45 minutes away. So he came to the north side, back to back. We didn't have any destination.
He was cute as bunny.
We were just kind of rolling. So it's not really much to do on the north side, I will admit that. So we were just kind of riding up 1960. Stopping at the places where I knew would probably have people. So the first place in hookah. So the first place we went to, they had no one. The second place, District 1960. We went to District 1960, and it was free to get in. I think you knew the DJ.
I knew the DJ. I knew a couple people. Photography guy.
Other people had on costumes, so we was like, oh, they got hookah. Okay.
I look like I got a costume on because I'm severely overdressed for the north side.
He had on jeans, hard bottoms.
I looked like I was headed to Hinky and Pilot or something. I really didn't look like I belonged in that place at that time.
Right. And then one of my homeboys, he just kept on like asking, is he okay? Is he good? Like, it's a little rough in here. And I'm just like, this dude is from Greenspoint. He's fine. And then, yeah. So we're in there. We chilling.
Having a great time.
Having a good time. And then
I asked them that they want something to drink.
Yes.
And so
we was like, yeah, we can get something to drink.
We're facing towards the DJ.
Like the dance floor.
And behind me is the bar and the bathroom. So I turn around to ask for drinks. The whole club is boxing. Whole club. I'm looking around like it was like
a full.
The whole club was on fire. Like that, I was just like, and the bartender looks at me and was like, "Yo, what y'all drinking?"
Like still ordering, like nothing was happening. We looking like, sir, like everybody's over here fighting. Men, the cops are getting beat up. Like it was a bunch of stuff going on, and we like, nah, we don't want any drinks.
Well,
we want to close out.
About it.
Let's go get some tacos outside.
So we made it outside to the tacos, and then
they brought out the troublemakers who really started the fight. 2 Caucasian women,
and they talked like they were from Greenspoint too.
We spend money in this club.
Hey, we spend money up in here. Why y'all kicking us out? You know what I'm saying? We done spent all the money. Why y'all kick us out?
And we were just sitting there like,
let's get those tacos on the roll so we can get. My thing is, if they're doing all of that, I just don't want to be around to see what happens when other people walk outside.
When the people that they were fighting
walk outside. This is Northside people. Things happen really fast. So
men and women, don't think that just because they were women that because they had gold teeth and everything. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, it
was like Baps, but with white girls. So so we shoot out and we gonna go eat the tacos in her driveway.
In my driveway.
So you're talking about?
Oh, I'm talking about how my dad passed because my dad passed away in 2017. So it had been about 5 months. So I was just giving him the story, like the last few weeks or whatever of his life. And I was just telling him what happened. He had heart problems. So I was telling him that story, and we were just in that emotion,
like the story.
like listening. And then his phone rings,
3:33.
3:33.
The phone rings, and it's my uncle. Right after hearing her story of how her dad's sick, my uncle calls and tells me my grandmother had a stroke. Y'all don't even know how broken I was at this point. I'd lost my mom to cancer. I watched her shrink to 60 pounds. I watched my sister's breast turn into a big black scab and down her chest. And I watched them go to their last breath. And then after that, my aunt passed, or she had a stroke, and now she can no longer speak. My dad had a stroke right after my sister, and he hasn't been, back to himself. And then with my grandma, I was just like, I was losing all of these people, and after their injury, it wasn't the same. And I was just, that day was just so random. Like, it just happened.
And then we're on our third date. Like, we know each other, but we don't, know each other. You're not even in my house.
Sitting here, and I'm trying not to cry. Because I'm dying inside, and I'm trying not to cry. Like, this is the third date. I'm really not trying to express that emotion in this truck. So I couldn't move. I could not move. Like, he was telling me, she's at this hospital. I can't make it there right now. Can you go check on her? And I could not move. My legs, my arms, nothing could move. And I'm just sitting there, and she's just like, just sit here as long as you need to sit here, and then you can take off. And that was the third date.
That was the third date. So we had those ups, highs, and then it was just like, yeah.
But the thing is, we had each other. Like, if I wouldn't have had her at that point, I don't know where I would have been at that point in my life.
Like, you probably would have been at home by yourself. Then
the worst thing to do is have somebody that's already severely depressed home by themselves. So, yeah, that's how the 3 dates went. The story continues on. It's a lot more to the story, but that's the 3 dates that defined us in the beginning, with all the other things, were how we came to love each other. And so after 7 months, we were sitting in the garage, and she was reading what was it, meme?
no, it was an article on Facebook.
Article.
It was an article on Facebook, and it was basically describing your 3 loves of your life. And it was saying how the first one is, I can't really remember exactly what the first one was.
The first one is,
like kind of childish, like a childish love. And then the second one was like the one that teaches you a lesson. And the third one, it was describing all these different things that basically described our relationship. And I was reading it to him, and it was after I had already posted it. Like, I had saw it and I read it and I had posted it on Facebook. And then later on, we were in the garage because that was our little chill spot at his house. And we were just sitting there talking, and I was like, ooh, let me read this to you. So I read it to him. And then when I finished reading,
I look up and I'm just bawling, crying. This is the first time. This is what, 7 months in. I'm crying because she's read this, and I'm sitting here, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that we went to the same high school, that we grew up on the same neighborhood, that I played basketball on her street every day and we never met, that my cousin is her best friend since 14.
That I knew his dad, and I used to call his dad Uncle Garen. Like pretty much his family took me in. Like, my mom, she was the only child, so they were like extra family to me. So I would spend holidays and I would be over there. So I knew his dad as an uncle.
And I went to TSU, Texas Southern University, and I had this speech communications teacher named Marcus D. Wiley. And through talking to her, I found out that's her brother. And I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. So when she's reading this thing out, I'm just sitting there, and I raise my head up, I'm crying, and it just doesn't make sense. And when I told her that, and I guess being vulnerable, and she didn't disrespect my feelings or whatever, we grew from there. Like, I totally committed myself to this woman. I didn't want to be around anybody else. I think I got up the next day. Had I been talking to someone or tried to talk to someone, I didn't want to talk to them anymore. Like, it became very, very weird. And I liked it. I liked it. I had this new feeling. It's like a weight had been lifted off my chest. Like I had found what I had been looking for, what I asked God for. And so I didn't make light of it. You take that. So yeah, I do say that to say this. When you ask God for something, just know that the devil's listening. And he's going to offer you something too. And what I tell people is the devil's going to give you everything that you asked for and more. And it's going to look great on the surface. It's going to look fantastic. But it's going to be all potatoes and no meat. And then it's going to take you 2 or 3 years to get back on course. Sometimes what doesn't look right, I asked God for a woman that respected me and wanted to go on this life path with me, like actually wanted to grow with me. And he gave me a woman with 3 kids. I wasn't asking for 3 kids. I said I wanted kids. I said I wanted a family. He gave me everything that I asked for. And I couldn't make light of it when he gave it to me. But he gave me, when I met her, I met another girl, and they were kind of identical in situation. And if I tell you this story, one had a better job, everything. But no meat there, all potatoes. And
What if you're vegan?
Huh?
Some people might like potatoes.
Hey man, if you vegan and that's the way your situation's set up, I mean. So yeah, I think she was kind of my therapy and I was hers.
Definitely my therapy, because as we were dating, I was going through divorce.
And I was helping, like going to the courthouse with her, trying to help her get this divorce, and it's rough. Going
through the divorce, and even the emotions of, even though I no longer wanted to be in the marriage, or the marriage had died years prior, it's still a situation where, like, dang, you was married and now you ain't married
still
no more.
2 people with all these feelings.
And then you have kids in the situation, and you're having to deal with the kids' emotions. So it was a lot. So it was very good to have him there to help me get through that.
And the thing is, after that day, we hung out every day. I don't think we've ever not been around each other for more than a couple of days since then.
Well, since Jamaica, since my birthday, we haven't spent a night apart.
Yeah. Haven't spent a night apart. And that's crazy because she was asking me, she had damn near spent the whole summer at my house, and she was like, yo, do you want me to go home?
Shout out to the summer home.
Yeah, so I was like, nah. I mean, you can chill out.
Yeah, because I would ask, because I already knew how he was.
Because she would listen to me and she would hear, like, I don't really deal with people for long periods of time, but it was just different. So the people around us that were hanging around us at the time, they started to change. The men started to change. They saw our relationship and they said, damn, kind of want that too. And so I started giving little counseling tidbits to them and them and them. And I started looking at it and I was just like, I got to be an example, but the example has to be different. I was working on a radio show and Tia had watched the full transformation. Like for me going to the man, I mean, from the myth to the man. So towards the end, I was just looking at it like, it's got to be something different. It's got to be bigger. And so me and my friend, we went ring shopping. She had no idea, but he was going to propose earlier. So that was kind of the throw off to how we would kind of.
Yeah, we were really focusing on his friend's engagement. I was all.
We were all up in there. So after that happened, I was talking to my friend. He was like, when you gonna do it? I'm like, I'm doing it tonight. Soon as she get off work, when she walk in, I'ma propose. So after she couldn't you were coming home.
Oh yeah, right.
We were on the phone. But
we were on the phone. Okay, I was working at the Red Rooster, and we would always talk on the phone on the way when I would be on my way home, because it was like a 45-minute drive. We would stay at his house on the weekends and stay at my house on the north side. Summer home. Shout out to the summer home. We'll stay at my house during the week. because of the kids in school, and then on the weekends we'll be at his house. So I was getting off work. It was a Friday night, and I was driving back. I was driving to Pearland after work. So it's cold outside, and I get there, and usually when I get there, he would have the garage raised up, or he would be coming outside, something, because he know I have my stuff for the weekend. Nah. We're just on the phone, and I'm just like, okay, well, maybe he's in the restroom or whatever. I'm just going to sit here for a little while, wait for him to raise up the garage.
And people, I'm nervous as hell. So I can't even think about opening a garage or opening the door. I was just sitting there like on the couch.
Nah. So he didn't raise up no garage. So I was like, okay, well, I guess he's not coming. So I get out of the car. And it's freezing outside. So I'm wrestling with my bag. I got an attitude. I'm like, okay, it's cold. I got to get my own bags. He ain't raise up the door, none of that. So I go and I walk up to the door. So I'm thinking, okay, I know he at least unlocked the door. Nah. So I have to dig in my bag for my key.
Then she dropped the bag.
Drop my bag. Like it was a lot. So by this time I opened the door, I have built up this whole attitude because I'm like, I was just on the phone with you. You just asked me where I was. You know that I'm here. So why are you not making sure nobody is snatching me up? So I open the door and he's sitting on the couch with a jacket on and some shoes on, and his friend is up, his girl is up, and they're talking. So I'm like, okay, so it's 3:00 in the morning. Y'all up and y'all know that I'm here. Why am I having to use the key to open the door? So I come in the house, I got my bags, and they're talking, and I just walked through. I was just like, mad.
She walked right past me.
Right past him. I had an attitude. And then he was just like, I was like, yeah, you couldn't open the door? And he told me, oh man, you need help with your bags? And I was like, I got it.
It's all on camera.
I was so mad. Yeah, it is on camera. And I was so mad. So
she came out the room and walked right past me.
I came out the room and walked right past him again.
Without my hug or my kiss.
Without his hug or kiss. Because the thing was that I had a bag in my hand and I was going to put the bag down. I had like some sweet potatoes and some Jello to make Jello shots.
Shout out to my favorite bartender.
Shout out to my favorite bartender. That's me. Get your Jello shots. So I walked right past him and I had this stuff. So my plan was, after I put the stuff down, I was going to pull him into the room and have a conversation and be like, don't do me like that. Don't have me outside like that. Like, make sure you, and then I come in, you got your shoes and your jacket on. Like, I had it all playing in my head. So I went to the counter to put the stuff down and I turned around so I can be like, oh no, his friend's girl was graduating. So I was talking to her. I walked out, I was like, oh, congratulations. So I just shifted my whole conversation to congratulating her. And I was putting the stuff down. I'm still about to talk to you though when I'm done doing this.
Just give me 1 minute.
Give me 1 minute. So I put the stuff down on the counter and I started taking the stuff out. And I turned around and he was on his knee.
With the little light box. It had a little light up in there so she could see. But you want to show them people what they hitting on? Yeah. So, yeah, that happened.
And then, yeah, of course, I was totally shocked. And then I still didn't even talk to you about leaving me outside.
And then we almost fell. I almost got up and fell over. And that's on the video, too. And so that's how I proposed.
That's how he proposed. All I asked was that my nails be done and that it be captured on camera. I didn't care who was there. I didn't care about
really said, she was like,
I was like, just make sure my nails are done. And make sure that you catch it on camera. And he did that from 3 different angles. She was recording, his friend was recording, and then he had another camera set up. So I got 3 different angles of my proposal. And that's what I wanted. It would have been weird.
It was so last minute.
It would have been weird if it would have been a real photographer there.
Right.
Because then it's 3:00 in the morning. I would have been sitting there like, so you couldn't open the door and your friend here? So, yeah. That's how that happened. And now we're here.
Yeah, man, like, I tell people, I had to come to that realization, like, when you ask God for something, the devil listening, you're like, oh. And I was reading a book called Outwitting the Devil. He said, how do you stop or try to mess with determined people? He said, I give them everything they want. I let them destroy themselves. I said, wow. So it's the people destroying themselves. You're probably responsible for like 75 of your own problems, 75% of your own problems. Like it's some stuff I could have got myself out of debt like 2 or 3 times and didn't do it. I chose to do something comfortable. And so he gave me a two-way street. They gave me like I had all of this money at one point and blew it off because I couldn't deal with my depression first. The depression is always the problem. Like Lamar Odom, he had a bunch of money, but it's never going to solve a problem if you don't deal with the depression first. So that was the big thing. Like I think I put myself back together at 75%. I told her I was like one of those cans in the back of the grocery store. It's a dent in the can, but the contents are still good. So it was a little bit of work there, and she was willing to do the work. And I saw her baggage and I was like, I can take that, And so it really worked out, man, like just like that.